Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 3.
Welcome, it's Eric Erickson here. Look, I'm just going to jump straight into this. You know the phone number, the text words, all of that. Listen, you want I was a lawyer. I did criminal law, I did civil law. You want my professional legal opinion here, having read the indictment of the former president? I would use the F word, except we're on radio because he has F'd himself. It is bad. And they've got the goods, and that's the problem. And I just let me review for you parts of this indictment. And the problem here for Donald Trump is that it's not correspondence with Kim Jong-un. Donald Trump had plans for military invasions that he kept. This is bad. Whether you want to admit it's bad or not, they have him on tape. Let me review this for you. The classified documents, I'm reading from parts of the indictment. The classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries' U.S. nuclear program, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. The unauthorized disclosure of these classified documents could put at risk the national security of the United States, the safety of the military, and human sources. In June of 2021, at the Bedminster Club, that's Trump's golf club in New Jersey, during an audio-recorded meeting with the writer, a publisher, and 2 members of his staff, none of whom possessed security clearance, Trump showed and described a plan of attack that Trump said was prepared for him by the Department of Defense and a senior military official. Trump told the individuals the plan was highly confidential and secret and said on the audio recording, and I quote, "As president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is still a secret." In August or September of 2021, Trump showed a representative of his political action committee who didn't possess a security clearance, a classified map related to a military operation, and told the representative he should not be showing it to the representative, and the representative shouldn't get too close. Now, this is actually probably an even more damning part. Follow this timeline. On January 17th of 2022, nearly a year after Trump left office, after months of demands from the National Archives to provide all missing presidential records, Trump provided 197 documents with classified markings. On June 3rd, in response to a grand jury subpoena demanding all documents with classification markings, Trump handed over 38 more documents. But then on August 8th, the FBI, using a search warrant, found 102 more documents with classification markings. So he didn't give the grand jury everything that the grand jury ordered. That's a clear violation of federal law. From January through March of 2021, some of Trump's boxes were stored the Mar-a-Lago Club's white and gold ballroom. They've got a picture in the indictment. The boxes are stacked up on the ballroom stage. On December 7th, 2021, Mr. Nauta, who is also being indicted with Trump, found several of Trump's boxes had fallen and their contents spilled on the floor, including a document marked secret. which denoted that the information in the document was releasable only to Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, consisting of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Nauta texted Trump employee 2, "I opened the door and found this." Nauta attached 2 photographs he took of the spill. Trump employee 2 replied, oh no, I'm sorry, POTUS had my phone." One of the photographs Nauta had showed explicitly classified material. Between May 23rd of 2022 and June 2nd, 2022, before Trump Attorney 1 review of Trump's boxes, Nauta, at Trump's direction, moved 64 boxes from the storage room to Trump's residence and brought to the storage room only approximately 30 boxes. Neither Trump nor Nauta told Trump's attorney. In other words, Nauta and Trump hid from Trump's own attorney classified documents. That's one of the allegations. Trump had documents concerning the U.S. nuclear capabilities and the nuclear capabilities of a foreign country. My gosh. That, y'all, holy moly. You can say, but Hillary. You can say, but Biden. But they've got Donald Trump on audio recordings admitting the information is still classified and he shouldn't be showing it to him, but he's going to anyway. And it's not correspondence, it's war plans. It's troop maneuvers. It's bad. It's really not good stuff. It's bad. And again, the problem is you can say, but you can do all of the buts you want. You can do all of the buts you want. Except they got him on an audio recording. They have the photos of the documents. Part of the bad part of this is that Donald Trump hid documents from his own lawyers, according to the indictment, which suggests he knew he was supposed to hand over the documents. That's a state of mind issue that goes to culpability. What's also bad for Trump is that a grand jury subpoenaed all documents with classification markings, and he didn't hand over all the documents. You couple that with having hidden documents from his lawyer, you got a real legal problem there for Donald Trump. You got a real legal problem there for Donald Trump. Hard to say, oops, my bad on this when you're hiding docs from the lawyers. That's the problem. The timeline is the problem. You are ordered by the grand jury to turn over documents, and you don't. That's a problem. You are ordered to turn them over, and you don't, and you hide them from your lawyer. That's a problem. Those are the problems. Should he be prosecuted for it? I still think you should beat him at the ballot box instead. I still think that's the way to go. Beat him at the ballot box. You beat him at the ballot box and then prosecute him. The statute of limitations won't have run out. But I think you gotta settle this. This still looks to 70 million people like you are trying to preempt a presidential run, and so settle it at the ballot box first. That's seriously, that's the major problem here. You can disagree with the prosecution. You can say, but Hillary. You can say, but Biden. But they got this on audio. And it's not just like chump change. It's like war plans for invading Iran. It's the military weaknesses of our allies. He kept all of that stuff. It's not good. It's not good. A friend of mine has texted me and says it's bad judgment, but the president can show military to anyone at any time. They don't need to have a security clearance. The problem is the president admits that he didn't declassify this stuff and shouldn't be showing it to people, and that's a state of mind play because it happened after the presidency. That's the indictment. That's the bulk of the indictment. There's more stuff in there, but that's it. And that doesn't look good. And I maintain my position that this is something you should deal with at the ballot box. But I also, it looks like the U.S. attorney has the goods. All right, I want to go on and take a time out here. I want to review everything before I leave, and so to do that, let me go on and take a time out now, and then when I come back, I'll see if I can work in a phone call or two, and then I just kind of want to close down the phone lines, decompress, and review everything. 877-973-7425. Boll & Branch uses the finest 100% organic cotton from family farms to your family home. They've got a natural, unmatched softness, and they get softer with every wash. Those are the highlights that Boll & Branch wants me to tell you about. Let me tell you about my experience as a longtime customer. Every single room in our house has Boll & Branch sheets. Why? Because they don't pill up over time. Some that they get a little like pill of whatever they call it, and they get rough. They don't. They get softer every single wash, and they last. They don't wear out. You don't have fraying threads. They just are fantastic, and they really, really do get softer the more you wash them, and they hold up over time. We love them in our house. They've got the perfect weight. They feel kind of snuggly, but you don't get hot in the summertime under them, but you stay warm in the wintertime. It's perfect. I love these sheets. Get 15% off your first order of Boll & Branch sheets when you use promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at bollandbranch.com. That's Boll & Branch, B-O-L-L-A-N-D branch.com. The promo code is ERIC. Exclusions apply. See site for details. You will love these sheets as much as everybody in my family does. We got them on all 5 beds in the house. You can too. Hello there. It's Eric Erickson. The phone number, 877-973-7425. So let me, for those of you who consider yourself patriotic Americans, this is where the Democrats are going to go. They're going to go after your emotions on this because, in reading the indictment, Donald Trump kept classified communications he had with foreign leaders. But he didn't just keep classified communications with foreign leaders. Donald Trump also kept war plans. He kept plans outlining invasions of Iran and other countries. He kept lists of our military vulnerabilities and areas of the country that our military leaders believe were vulnerable to attack. He kept military vulnerabilities of our allies. He kept classified troop locations where our military operators work around the world in classified locations. He kept lists of our spies, the names of our spies, and the nations in which they operate. There's a related story. This is from 2019. A Chinese trespasser at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort was sentenced to 8 months in jail. A Chinese businesswoman was trespassing at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago carrying a bag full of electronics. Xu Jingzhang, 33-year-old Shanghai business consultant, was arrested on March 30th for unauthorized entry to Mar-a-Lago and lying to federal agents. This was in 2019 while he was still president. And our president, after he left office, had classified war plans and it appears had documents relating to what we know about China's nuclear arsenal. Here's the problem here. Can y'all on the left at least acknowledge with me he didn't intend to sell these documents as some people wanted. He just wanted them. He wanted them for bragging rights. He wanted to be able to show off to his friend how cool the job was. That's what it was. The problem is that the Chinese could go in and seal it, and in fact in 2019 tried. He left them piled up on a stage where they fell over out of the boxes and people walking past could see highly classified documents. It's even if you don't think it's criminal, it's stupid. Even if you think he should go to jail, it's stupid. I don't think he should be prosecuted. I think he should be beaten in the ballot box. But I'm looking at this thinking, you are an idiot. I can't use on air the language I would say, but he is a dummy. How do you do this? How do you do this? I don't know. That just I'm reading this indictment and I'm like, you told someone to hide documents from your own lawyers. That's one of the allegations in the indictment, is that he told his valet to move these documents to my bedroom so the lawyers don't find them, because the lawyers were looking for documents to send them to a grand jury to comply with the subpoena. That's why some of the lawyers wound up quitting now, it turns out. Because Trump was hiding documents. What an idiot. I mean, you don't mess around with this stuff. You think they stole the election from you, and you think there's a deep state, and you have done a remarkable job of making it extremely easy for them to come for you. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh my gosh. You gotta laugh or you're gonna cry in this. This is just so stupid. It's just what he did is stupid. He wants to be able to brag, so he shows guys, hey guys, let me show you the military plans for our invasion of Iran. Now it's still classified, so don't tell anybody. And they're recording the conversation. Oh my gosh. It turns out Veep really is an accurate description of the presidency, not just the vice presidency. Oh my gosh. I don't get it. I realize he likes to brag, he likes to puff himself up, and admit it. He won in 2016, wasn't sure he would win. He won. It was a cool job, and he wants to tell people how cool it was. And he does, and he shows them all the stuff he shouldn't show them. Somebody needs to go get him a Rita Hayworth poster. If you've ever seen Shawshank Redemption, he needs a poster of Rita Hayworth stat. My gosh, cannot believe he did this. I can't believe some of you are thinking of using precious metals in your portfolio and you haven't called Advantage Gold yet. Now listen, maybe it's not for you. But if you're thinking of using precious metals because you're kind of one of those industrious people who does this stuff by yourself and you want to pad the margins against inflation and the stock market and the like, well, Advantage Gold might be who you need to call. 800-450-2566. Advantage Gold is TrustLink's #1 highest-rated gold company, 7 years in a row. They got the best prices and staff. They've got a fantastic IRA department. So the IRS has rules in place on how you have to store precious metals as part of an IRA or a 401k. And Advantage Gold can help you comply with those rules and give you the free gold investment kit for your IRA. 800-450-2566 is the number, 800-450-2566. They are amazing. They can answer your questions you might have regarding your retirement account if it currently qualifies. Do you need to do something new or make some changes? More than that, they can just help you buy gold and silver at a reasonable price. 800 450-2566. That's Advantage Gold's phone number. Call them, 800-450-2566. When we come back, let's just go through this whole process again. Greetings. Welcome back, America. It's Eric Erickson here across the nation. You know what, Charlie, actually go ahead and close the phone lines. I apologize. I realize it is Open Line Friday, but I want to review all of the indictment stuff one more time before I get out of here for everybody and try to make it make sense. I also know in the process that, frankly, emotions are kind of raw on this for a lot of people on both sides, by the way. You've got progressives who are very angry for those of us who say this shouldn't be an indictment, and you got conservatives who are angry that it's a witch hunt and they're out to get him. So let's just, no, tell them call back on Monday. Y'all know it's rare for the call screener and I to be able to interact this directly. No, and you don't get to talk. Okay, sorry. Now, can't let my call screener talk to you people. Okay, so let's review. Donald Trump indicted. We don't know the details of it. They have not released it, and I think that's part of the problem here. To go through this, do this, and head into the weekend, and they haven't revealed the indictment. They've leaked parts of the indictment. We know from the Trump team parts of the indictment is part of the problem. The big issue here is obstruction. As I said in the first hour, you do need to keep in mind, when it comes to either the Mike Pence stuff or the Joe Biden stuff, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, whether you say it's double standard or not, historically in the country under this particular statute related to classified documents, we don't prosecute people who do it unintentionally. That is, we don't prosecute people who carried off secured classified documents, but didn't mean to do it. You can argue around Joe Biden. We don't know the details. You can argue around Mike Pence. They did say he clearly didn't mean to do it. But when you are the president or the vice president, you have a bunch of other people carting documents off for you. You presume they followed everything. And in this case, prosecutors want to claim that Donald Trump knew he had not followed procedure, and when confronted with it, engaged in a cover-up. It's never the crime, it's the cover-up. There's no cover-up for Biden or Pence. Now, again, you can quibble with this all you want. I'm just trying to give you the facts as they are, as they're being portrayed, whether you like it or not. Don't be mad at me for explaining that to you. But for those of you who think we got to get the guy, this goes back to my point. The man is a former president of the United States who 74 million people voted for. He's running again for president of the United States. Beat him at the ballot box. Taking this to court, I don't care what your rationale is. This is different from him shooting someone Fifth Avenue. This is not murder. This is carting documents out of the White House, something Vice President Pence and President Biden and others have done. Carted documents off. Yes. Does it appear that he didn't want to surrender them? Does it appear that perhaps he lied about it? Yes, all of that is true, but it's different from murder. I'm sorry. Even the ancient Greeks had this idea that it wasn't worth pursuing justice if you set the world on fire to do it. We are a nation who every single one of you believes is tattering at the seams. When you come after a man who got 74 million votes in the 2020 election, who's already running for president again, you're setting the world on fire to extract your pound of flesh from him. And the fact that liberals are giddy about this and think he's going to prison for the rest of his life should tell you everything you want. CNN fired its president. Why did CNN fire its president? They fired the president of CNN because liberals couldn't stand him putting Donald Trump on television, and the liberals in CNN and the liberals out of CNN had a backlash, destroyed the ratings, and he had to go as punishment. You can't tell me Donald Trump gets a fair trial and fair media coverage in this country given those scenarios, except he is in Miami. And because he's in Miami, Miami is notorious for not finding guilty various politicians. Miami is notorious for not finding guilty prominent people on corruption charges. And therein lies the tricky thing for this case. Jack Smith, the prosecutor, thinks he has an airtight case. And perhaps Jack Smith has an airtight case. Perhaps he does. Can he get it through a jury in Miami? That's part of the problem. You don't convict Donald Trump. You've put him back in the presidency. Hell hath no fury like Trump voters scorned. And it does make it look like a witch hunt for a lot of independent voters who may not like Trump, but do have a sense of outrage when the system goes awry against a man even like Donald Trump. But in fairness, here's probably what's going to happen. You know, this is one of two Jack Smith investigations. The second Jack Smith investigation involves January 6th. I just have a sneaking suspicion they're not going to do anything with it. I just don't know that you can really prove Donald Trump conspired to cause an insurrection and try to steal the presidency. I don't know. There's all this suspicion about what about Mark Meadows? What does Mark Meadows know? I don't know. I just think that this is probably a bridge too far in that regard. But you also have Fulton County, Georgia, and I am led to believe charges will come. So you have the New York case, you have the Miami case, you may also have a Washington, D.C. case. You have the Fulton County case, drip, 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 drip. They're going to bleed him dry of money. He can't campaign around the country while he's also going to court. He can't fundraise to fund a presidential race when he's got to fundraise to pay the lawyers. And that as well adds to the sense of insult and injury to his side, that this does look like an attempt to stymie him from running for the presidency. Forget your sense of justice. It looks like you're trying to block him from being able to run for president to a lot of people, 70 million people. And that's part of the problem too. So what do the opponents do? I think there are three things they can do. And the one is very obvious, that you can say Donald Trump has no impulse control. He should have handed over all the documents and he chose not to. He brought it on himself. Let justice be done. You can do that, but that's not going to get you very far in a Republican primary. It's probably the most honest one. I mean, let's just be honest here. Based on what we already know, Donald Trump was told to hand over all these documents, and Donald Trump said he didn't have to, or he handed over everything unclassified or declassified, or he could declassify because he was president. He had no impulse control, and he decided he could do it, and he was going to keep these documents. He wasn't going to sell them to anyone. He just didn't want to hand them over. And guess what? Now he's going to be charged with a crime for not doing so. You could do that, but that's not going to go over well with Republicans. There are two things that would. One is there is the sentiment. John Ellis, who is a political writer, writes a newsletter I subscribe to, says part of the thing you got to understand about the Trump voters is they're willing to move on from Trump, but only if done out of deference with due respect to Donald Trump. So you could have a candidate go out there and say, folks, this is bad. This is outrageous. This is an injustice. But if we're honest, he's going to be tied up in court. He's going to have to use all of his money to pay for lawyers. They're making it impossible for him to run. You've got New York, you've got Miami, you've got Fulton County, you may have Washington, D.C. So let me run and I will avenge him. And when the media says, well, if you get elected, will you pardon him? You smile with a twinkle in your eye and you say, elect me and find out. And you do it that way. You do it that way. You pursue it that way by doing all deference to Trump and saying, listen, God bless him. God bless everything he did. But I'm sorry, it's clear they're going to shackle him in court, metaphorically, hoping to shackle him in reality. We can't run against Joe Biden. You can't beat Biden in court and Biden at the election. So let me do it for him and I'll avenge him. The other one that I suspect will be the Chris Christie avenue, and maybe some of the others as well. He couldn't stop the steal. He couldn't stop the indictment. He sure as hell can't stop the deep state in 2024. You might as well give someone else a try to do it. And by the way, that is a plausible one. If you think that the 2020 election was stolen, Donald Trump couldn't stop the steal. If you think The indictment is political gamesmanship. Donald Trump couldn't stop the indictment. If he couldn't stop the steal and he can't stop the indictment, how is he going to stop Joe Biden in 2024? And some Trump supporters will say, well, we'd rather go down on this ship than change, but there might be enough to say, yeah, maybe we should give someone else a try. Those are your three paths. The first one doesn't work. The third one works uniquely for some candidates like Chris Christie. The second one is the common ground for the candidates. Say, this is bad. They can't beat him at the ballot box, so they're going to do this. And I'll avenge him. It's a plausible path forward for the candidates. Now, I will tell you that Ron DeSantis came out with a statement and essentially said, why are you being so aggressive against Donald Trump when you weren't with Hillary Clinton and you're not with Hunter Biden? And Donald Trump's team excoriated Ron DeSantis for not being sufficiently groveling towards Trump. It was an absurd response. I mean, anything the man does, if he doesn't pledge outright fealty and get out of the race, they're going to attack. But that's a lesson for these other candidates that you probably need to measure your response based on how they attacked Ron DeSantis. Go for broke on this. Here's the bottom line reality for those of you who support Donald Trump. You may decide you wish to go down on the ship, but the odds are you're going to go down on the ship because this is going to drag out beyond next year's election. They're probably not going to have a trial next year. Trump's team will run out the clock. But in the process of running out the clock, what's going to happen? He's going to spend all of his money on lawyers, not on the campaign trail. To the extent he's going to spend time anywhere, it's going to be in courtrooms or in legal offices. He's got Fulton County. He's got Miami. He's got New York. He's probably going to have Washington, D.C. Maybe. I don't think he is, but a lot of people do. It's that time component that matters greatly. And that time component is what weighs him down. That time component is what causes problems. The drip, 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 drip of indictment. Going to court, paying the lawyers. Going to court, paying the lawyers. Going to deposition, paying the lawyers. Going to court, paying the lawyers. Going to law office, paying the lawyers. Going to law office, paying the lawyers. Going to trial, getting the trial delayed, paying the lawyers. It metaphorically shackles him. And you can argue, if you're Trump, that they can't beat me, so they're trying to do this, and that's fair, but that's also an acknowledgement that you can't win the election and also win in court. So you go to jail, go to the White House. What do you want? You want to try for the White House? You can be president, but do you really think a majority of Americans, not already your supporters, want to vote for a man who's in prison or may go to prison? This isn't just about the nomination. This is about the bulk of the American public, and many of those people voted for the Democrats in 2022 because they were tired of Trump. You can rush this and hope you're found not guilty. We'll see what the evidence is next week if you want to pursue that. You rush it, you're found not guilty, then that makes you a hero. That makes you the victim. And maybe the American public turns towards you. Is that a chance you want to take? These are the calculations that must be made. Don't be mad at me for pointing out the calculations that must be made. But the reality is, particularly for you Democrats, whether you want to hear me say it or not, beat him at the ballot box. Going down this road is crossing the Rubicon. If you stay on this path, may God have mercy on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Republicans to this day are convinced they went easy on Hillary Clinton and they should have thrown the book at her. Damn the consequences. Doesn't matter whether she was found guilty or not guilty. It was the trial and the pain of a trial that mattered. You have just set a precedent you will live to regret by pursuing Donald Trump in court instead of trying to pursue him at the ballot box. Wish we had an Eden Pure thunderstorm that could clean the political air, but we don't. But we do have one that can wipe out odors around your house, whether it's upstairs, downstairs. So I got to fly to Denver tonight, and you know about Denver. Lord knows how my hotel room is going to smell. I have my Eden Pure Thunderstorm in my travel bag. You can hold it in the palm of your hand, and it just wipes out odors. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm, you can get 3 of them for less than $200. They trap dust, they trap pollen, they trap mold and mildew, but they also wipe out those odors, pet odors, smoke odors, litter box odors, cooking odors, mildew, musty odors. They wipe it out. You get 1 for upstairs, 1 for downstairs, 1 for your basement, 1 for your RV, however you need it. You get 3 of them for less than $200. You go to EdenPureDeals.com, EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code, you'll see it on the front page of the site, ERICK, E-R-I-C-K. Put that in. Get 3 of them for less than $200. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERICK. Howdy, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. So I mentioned earlier I got to go to Denver tonight, and I'll be on CNN at some point tomorrow. It's a crazy schedule. So I leave here, going to run, get a haircut, go to the airport, fly to Denver, get there around 10 p.m. Denver time. I got to be up. Now we're on Denver time, which is 2 hours behind us. So I got to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I got to do CNN, and then I got to go to several meetings, and then I got to give a speech at like 11. They've changed it on me. First it was 9:30, then it was 10:30, now it's 11. Then at 12, I got to get in a car. I got to go back to the airport. I got to get on a plane, and I got to come back home, and I get home at like 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm already exhausted thinking about it. That's okay. It'll be fine. So I'm going for a friend who asked me to go stand in his place to give a speech. It's to the Western Conservative Conference, which is kind of like CPAC for the West. And it's in Denver, which I'm a little bit alarmed about because Denver has just deteriorated. It's yet another progressive city that's just collapsed under the weight of society over the last number of years. So I'll be in a fine place, but I don't want to be accosted by the weed-smelling homeless people. Nonetheless, I digress. I have to tell you guys what happened to me yesterday. So, I get a lot of text messages during the show, and I have finally used my Mac to put me into a mode where I don't see the text messages. They don't come through while I'm on radio, except from select people. So if Charlie or Philip or Ken at my flagship station or my agent text me or my wife or kids text me, I see it. If anybody else texts me, I don't see it until after the show, unless I actively go look for it so it doesn't distract me. So yesterday during the show, my daughter texts me while I'm in mid-monologue with you people. She wants to buy her mom flowers, and I text her back why, because she feels like she needs them. What happened? Well, she suggested that maybe I need to move into a dorm when I go to college, and I need to remind her that I love her and she loves me. Oh my gosh, we got another year of high school before we have to go through this. I'm like, okay. Well, she times it good enough to come to my office and bring me some coffee from a coffee shop downtown before I go back on air. But then during I get back on air, she goes to the coffee shop or goes back to the florist. She wants to pick out flowers, and she texts me, what should I get? While I'm on radio talking to you people. So I can text roses, no lilies. She texts me again. Is there anything she's allergic to? Do you know how hard it is to spell the word chrysanthemum while I'm explaining Mike Pence's run for the presidency to you? I might have yesterday put him on the chrysanthemum throne while trying to tell my daughter in text message while typing, don't buy her chrysanthemum, she's allergic. I may have to block my kid from texting me. God bless her. We are going to forestall any conversations about dorms until she goes back to school. But goodness gracious, that was a little bit stressful. All right. I try to text and talk at the same time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In any event, I am out of time. I will be in Denver. I'll be back here tomorrow and to Atlanta, and I will talk to you guys on Monday. Y'all have a wonderful weekend.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.